Hello and welcome to Inside News with Dale Matthews and Mike Jones. Hello, Mike Jones.
Hey Dale, it's like Christmas cat day or something,
Yes,
obviously.
that's right. This is somebody that took this cat. He looks a little perturbed and dressed him up in Santa Claus stuff. And this is my cat, Jack, a cartoon cat.
Well, and you know what? It's interesting because the cat that's on the screen there wearing the Santa suit looks a little bit like the angry cat or the unhappy cat, and this is actually this one particular cat that has this really angry look on his face all the time, and they're making millions with this cat. They have angry cat calendar, angry cat, this, that, and the other thing. They're making a lot of money off this thing.
Well, when I used to put Jack on the First Friday newspaper, people would tell me, I really think it's interesting how he changes his expression depending on what's written below him. He does?
Yeah, wow. Yes.
And then the lady who said, I wish you would write more like Jack does.
Yes, right. Exactly.
I just didn't have the heart to tell her that Jack is a cartoon cat and he doesn't really write anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're going to do a lighthearted look at bureaucracy doublespeak, and you'll see. Let's see if you can. I will pull this up here. Bureaucracy doublespeak, and bureaucrats Babylon.
Yes.
Babylon, yes.
Yes. Yeah, thanks.
For history fans. But first we're going to start with something that's a bit more serious, and then we're going to have some fun. And, the kind of fun we have on this show. Woohoo. Okay. So we know now that Simon Gabriel Edward Hare will get his court hearing on Monday. I'm looking at my calendar, January 4. Mm-hmm. It was postponed from today, and then postponed till tomorrow, and then postponed till Thursday, and now it's postponed till Monday, January 4. And it's going to take place in courtroom number 1 in the Eugene Municipal Court. And he will have his lawyer there, and the prosecutor's office will have a lawyer. Will take place at 9 a.m. And the charges, Mike, are
let's see here, 813.010, and that is driving under the influence of intoxicants, and the charge 811.140, reckless driving.
So we'll see what happens. You note that the court could not confirm, it apparently will not be part of this hearing, his refusal to take a breathalyzer test. That's going to be handled in some other kind of way. I don't know how.
Do we have any sort of verification whether or not he is planning to show up for this one?
Yeah, I asked them about that. Of course, we would go there, maybe even with 2 cameras, because one on the judge, like we did in the courtroom here, that debacle, and then one on the lawyer, and potentially Simon Hare. They said one, in their county, they don't allow cameras, even if the judge says, oh, that's okay, because you asked permission here, as you would. It's polite. They don't allow them at all. And I said, well, okay, how about the recording? We don't do a recording. You don't do a recording either. I said, well, all right. Then how about the transcript? We don't have a transcript. You don't have a transcript.
Wow.
But they have notes.
Yeah, there's got to be a gal there doing the typity type thing.
Well, what they said is for this kind of hearing, they're just judge's notes. That's what they told me. And I asked them, I didn't just ask once. I didn't just ask once.
Right.
That's what they said.
And of course, with this thing having been rescheduled 2-3 times, this isn't even all that solid, is it?
No.
I mean, we'll wait until we get a little closer to find out what the skinny is on it.
Well, Mike and I were talking about going up there. I mean, it's just Eugene.
We take a video of him. There he is. He's walking in. And then, an hour later, oh, there he is. He's walking out. Can you tell us?
They said yes. We could set up out in front, right? Well,
right. Yes.
They're estimating.
Simon, can you tell us what you said in there?
You know what answer he'd
Yes.
give us. Yes.
Yes.
We're obviously not going to go, and we'll just tell you as soon as we do know it will be available to us. We can get an official whatever. They don't even call it a transcript, but we'll get the information. We'll share it with you. And they said very likely what almost always happens is this lawyer will come in who's a pal of his, a political pal of Simon Harris. That guy confirmed it to me personally. And then the lawyer says blah, 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 and then the judge says, okay, let's see about some kind of diversion program. Well, it's a diversion. All right. So don't think about it anymore, please. So Mike and I have our own diversion for this evening, and it's not trying to take you away from the news. But when I saw this meeting with the city council, I went, oh, brother, what a perfect example of, well, tell us, Mike, what is it a perfect example of, sir?
A bureaucracy in action.
But only 2 words, not bureaucracy in action.
Yes. Yes.
It's bureaucracy in action.
Yes. Boy, I watched about 2 minutes of it just to get a flavor of what was going to happen. I would shoot myself if I had to be in a room listening to that all day long, because it's clearly no one down there understands what they're doing. They're clearly not operating in the best interests of anybody but the continuance of the blob. And so this is going to be interesting, entertaining, maybe until you realize you're paying for this.
Yeah, I'm determined. Okay, there's the sad part. 1 is they're not getting anything done. 2, this is not going to help with economic development. 3, they're spending a ton of money. Okay, that's the sad part. But just like this cat that's all dressed up, okay, you can be gloomy about it, but we intend to have a little fun with it, and we're going to keep stopping the tape, Mike, and we'll point out every time we hear bureaucratic doublespeak, and we're going to make fun of it. That's what we do. We play back tapes and we make fun of it.
We're going to stop it every time.
This show will last 3 hours. Okay, so it doesn't matter what they're talking about. It's not going to happen anyway. But the fact that they're talking about economic development, and this lady's she seemed very nice. But it seems like she's right out of school. It's just what it seems like. She was running over in Jackson County, the Battle of the Bones. And since we're bare bones environment around here, it seems appropriate, right?
It's a perfect fit, yes.
Pour a little barbecue sauce in there, and we're good to go. And, except that we're hanging by our fingernails, so it's kind of hard to pick up the bones and eat them. Yeah. So
on the edge of a cliff.
So she's going to tell us all about our financial future, which is a very happy thing to be talking about. Well, you'll see. Go ahead, play part of it, and we'll keep stopping it and repeating to the best of I didn't take any notes, neither did Mike. You can listen along too and point out the bureaucratic doublespeak during this. It's all throughout this. Go ahead, Mike. We're going to run out of time.
The first item to talk about today is a economic development strategic plan update, which I believe Susan is going to come to the mic. Good morning.
Good morning, Mayor, City Council, and County Commissioners and citizens.
Great camera work.
My name is Susan C. Ryder, and this is my 3rd week as the business advocate for the City of Grants Pass. And I'm very happy to do this presentation update for the economic development strategic
They're going to get around to it.
Yeah, that's good. Yay! Oh, there she is.
The joint economic plan between the city and the county is a great opportunity to work together, 2 entities working together in unison and to bring together what's best for them.
And bring together. That's good. Okay.
I think she means they're going to work together, Dale.
But no, Mike, I have to disagree.
Unison.
No, they're going to be in unison, not just work together, but it's 2 entities in unison working together.
Man.
And when you think about it, what a triple threat that is.
Yes, no kidding.
Okay.
Yes, all right.
Keep going. It's lighthearted.
Pass and the economic development plan. The development of the plan was a specific plan approved by the city council.
Yes.
The common goal of both the city and the county is economic prosperity. A request, this is a timeline of what, how it was started. So a request for a proposal went out in March. The responses were received, reviewed, and evaluated. And after review, a recommendation by the city and county was made to contract with Echo Northwest.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Anyway, we already know. I already know, Mike. Go ahead.
What in the hell does any of that mean? A request was received, and they put these things out, and they got them back, and then they juggled them.
No, I was going to talk about Echo Northwest. Echo Northwest.
Well, at least she's saying it correctly.
Yeah, we know because we talked with them.
No.
And when I first called, just to be sure, I said, how do you say the name of your company? And she says, Echo Northwest. And I talked with someone else. I said, how do you say the name of your company? And the guy says, Echo Northwest. And which would you ask Cheryl Walker? Now, why does Cheryl Walker insist that everybody must say Econ Northwest? Why, Mike? Why?
Yes, because in the beginning, there was some trepidation on the part of citizens and even some of the people on the board that Eco Northwest was ecological, and then therefore they were an environmentalist front group or something like that. And, we're a timber community here, and we didn't want to, sort of muddy the water with that. So
I asked Echo Northwest,
right?
How did you get your name? Why did you pick that name? And they told me, well, we mostly work on ecological projects.
Right.
Well, that's why they're Echo Northwest.
Right. And we were calling them Eco Northwest, which is a little bit of an error. And their name is Echo Northwest, although the word that we were worried about is all still there.
That's why they named themselves that, because of our worry.
Yes, exactly. Interesting thing, because what they said, but Cheryl wanted to make sure that nobody thought that anymore, because she was fully on board to hammer this thing through and get a contract signed. So she started calling it Econ Northwest, and she was very emphatic that it's Econ Northwest. It means economic. That's what it means.
And it doesn't. And she even got Simon, and every once in a while, Keith, while he could remember to read the script, calling it Econ Northwest. And then they go to this meeting, they're sitting there, and everybody's saying Echo Northwest, including all the counselors, the mayor, the manager, this lady, because they know what it is. It's Echo Northwest.
Right.
No, it's Econ Northwest. Sure.
Yes, of course. That's what it is.
The council approved this recommendation in September.
Yeah, and now we're talking about it.
Here's a look at the timeline so far. There was a kickoff presentation given to the city and county on October 12th of this year. We are currently in phase 1 of the plan. There were 5 focus groups of a diversified group that was done on November 9th. And on November 10th,
Yes, sir.
The reason that there had to be 5 is so they could be diversified. Okay, we're going to point out the techno babble here. Diversified. Yeah. Keep going. Yeah, it had to be diversified.
Groups of diversity for input and feed. 5 groups of diversity. Does that mean they had other than white people on there?
No, I don't think so. They had
people from all walks of life.
No, they had people from all walks of the Rotary Club. All walks of the Rotary Club were represented. All 5 walks of the Rotary Club were there and represented. And they had people from the Chamber of Commerce, from all 5 walks of the Chamber of Commerce. It was sustainable.
Sustainable, right.
Oh, yeah. These were sustainable diversified groups that were streamlined. They were right-sized. You can just go on and on, but we're just having
That's
fun.
awesome.
Go ahead, Mike.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
City
that
and
it
county
is.
had a one-on-one meeting with Echo Northwest. All of you were invited. Later this week, there's going to be a survey monkey that's going to be going out to all of the people who participated in the focus group.
Yes, a survey monkey.
The summary
Yes,
of
we have no
findings will
bananas.
be given at the end of this week by Echo Northwest. A draft assessment will be done in December and will be delivered to the city and council and county at the beginning of January. Keep in mind that these preliminary strategies will be based on the SWOT analysis.
SWOT analysis
is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
Oh.
No, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
That's SWAT with an O?
Yeah, SWAT with an O. And what they're going to do is they're going to look at all of our economic development strengths. We've got rivers and trees. All of our weaknesses, we have bad government. All of our opportunities, let's get rid of the people who are now in office, and our threats from the bomb throwers that just have the audacity to not do as they're told when they're told what to vote.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not good.
So threats to economic development. Threats to economic development. Well, Cheryl Walker has listed the prime threat that she could think. In fact, she did it 2 weeks running. The prime threat to economic development, you know it, Mike. This show.
Yeah.
Because we make fun of them. And
Awesome.
That's not nice. Yeah. Okay, well, we got that going for us. Go ahead, Mike.
Will be held the last 2 weeks of January or possibly the first week in February. Invitations are sent out mid-December. After the charrette is held, an assessment
wait a minute. After the
will be
what?
given to the council and commissioners.
After the what?
Mike.
Yeah.
Charrette.
Charrette.
You can't say meeting. You can't say meeting anymore. No, meeting is old. Meeting is the 1900s when we went to school. You now have to call it a charrette.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, well, neither is anybody else, but they have, and this is now the new bureaucratic doublespeak. So from now on, we're not going to have weekly business sessions. We're going to have weekly sustainability charrettes.
Oh, Lord.
Or something. That's our job, is to pull out the silliness. Go ahead, Mike. Let's have a charrette now. Come on, let's have a charrette about this.
All right.
Either the same day or possibly the next day. This slide shows the phases. Right now we're in phase 1. That's going to be going on until the end of January. Phase 2 and 3 are the next 2 stages. Phase 2 will obtain additional analysis and draft plans for the information received from phase 1. Given the budget available for this task, the city and Echo Northwest will use results-oriented approach to identify those analysis that will contribute importantly to the final product.
Mike.
Community survey will be held.
All right. Now, wait a minute. We're going to use a results-oriented approach. That's a really important concept here, because you don't want to use a kind of approach that doesn't have any results at all. Yeah. We need to have an approach that is results-oriented.
And it makes it sound like you're doing something progressive.
Oh, it's progressive. All right. Oh yeah. This is progressive speak. Okay. It's who I have for my insurance company, and you know why? Because I'm not going to be using what reactionary auto insurance. I'm going to use progressive auto insurance, and we're going to have results oriented.
Oh no!
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you froze there for a minute.
Right. So, but as long as you can hear me, that's the important part. So, I hope it's not because I got a phone call coming in.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't answer that. So yeah, we need to have a results-oriented approach. And I'm glad that we've got this timeline, because she's pointing out to us that phase 2 and phase 3 follow one. And just in case you, this is the kind of meeting I sit in on every day when they're not taking a long vacation, or if they're not in rehab. Every day I sit through this kind of mind-numbing stuff and keep the camera rolling. And I think, what the heck are we going to do with this? Well, here's an example of what we could be giving you every day. We're not going to. We're just making fun of it today. We're not going to take it seriously because it'll make us cry. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay.
Second charrette will be held to identify roles, responsibilities, and partnerships.
Oh, brother.
Once summarized, Echo Northwest will again give a report to the city and county commissioners.
Good.
Yes.
Phase 3
Here's
will be
what
the
we're
final
not
action
doing.
and strategic plan. Echo Northwest will continue to work with the city and county and key stakeholders to identify and sort funding sources. A high-level marketing strategy.
Higher level
The
marketing.
final element of the plan.
We need that higher level.
This is where the Pat Davis Design Group comes in. They will review.
Didn't they have some hits back in the 60s?
They will summarize their assessment and best practices. They
Best
will present
practices.
the summary to the city and county.
Best as opposed to worse, you know.
And the key stakeholders at a half-day workshop.
Yes,
Everyone
that'll
is
be
invited to
good use of
attend.
time.
Echo Northwest will present the draft strategy at a joint meeting and to city and county officials. The city and county will send a consolidated list of any changes that need to be made, and then Echo Northwest will submit their final.
Mike, now this won't just be a meeting to talk about priorities. This will be a consolidated list of priorities that will be held during a charrette with the Spencer Davis Group providing the music.
Right. Yes. Oh, man.
Oh, brother.
It's mind-numbing, you know, and the sad part is none of this really means anything. All it means is that this is how they're rationalizing taking their money from us. And, you know, we'll have their best actor get up there and put on a thing about what they're going to do. And then a year later, when nothing has happened, they'll come back and say, you know, here's what we did. We tried our hardest. It's too bad that it's just not happening for you guys. And thanks for the check. It cleared last Friday here.
Well, we've heard these high-level marketing plans before. We heard them from So Ready. So Ready's always coming out with what they call high-level marketing plans. Okay, and they don't go like this, like Cheryl does, you know, with the bunny rabbits. But that's their high-level marketing plans. Who was that guy that came in that said that he had a deal going with Jackson County and he didn't really have a deal going with Jackson County?
Yeah, Mark Von Holly.
Mark Von Holly, a high-level marketing plan, high level. And we've heard high-level marketing plans from someone running for a commissioner who has all kinds of marketing plans. They're always high-level, you understand. And as long as they're high-level, why that then accounts for 90 full-time family wage jobs created with a high-level marketing plan for putting a plaque on a rock. It's good. And I predict that what's going to happen is after a couple of years, they're going to have a charrette where they're going to realize that their marketing plans need to be at an even higher level, and they can be there if we just give them more money.
Oh, yeah. You know what? And you're probably right about that. And how convenient that charrette and charade are not that far apart.
That's a good one.
Syllabically speaking.
Yes, yes. I'm not sure if you're putting the right emphasis on the right syllable there, but okay, yes. Okay. Let's not be silly about these syllables. Go ahead.
Okay. I was making that up, by the way. That's
good.
If that wasn't a word before, it is now. So here we go.
Strategy plan. This is the update so far of where we are and any recommendations from the city and county.
Thank you, Susan. Any questions?
Yes, now it's going to
Commissioner
affect
Hare?
everybody
Probably would have
else.
done better to
Not
have an
that Susan
opportunity
could
during
answer
some of
them.
those slides for questions. As we've gone past them, it's hard for me to remember exactly what I wanted to say, but I think starting out
Because I'm
probably
drunk.
about 3 slides ago was the distinction made between the one-on-ones that I had. I can only assume for the council and the board that those were not necessarily done with Eco Northwest. They were done with a facilitator. And I think that there is.
See, it's hard for him to say the right words.
It isn't a concern, but I really want the point from what the facilitator gathered in probably it can only speak to the specificity of my comments to what was being relayed to Eco Northwest as a priority, and kind of the things that I saw were the points of what I want to see this plan do for the county and the city.
Yeah.
Now, I want to make it clear here that Simon Hare is calling for someone. He doesn't want the facilitator talking with him. He wants to talk with somebody directly from Eco Northwest, not just a facilitator, and he wants to specify the specificities. What was it that he wanted to do? We didn't take any notes about this. No.
Okay.
Don't roll back. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it wasn't getting specific enough for him. Oh, really? Okay. But let's have Simon explain to us what he really wants specifically. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The gathering stage is really important, but the most important thing for me in all of this is that if I'm not here when this plan is revealed or in the future, that there's specific points that are prioritized for the future of a council and a board to work together on, and the step-by-step with how they will do those things.
There you go.
Really important, but and then there's proposed, positive outcomes as a result. If you do this, this is the potential impact it could have on your community, and codifying that. Those are really key. And I just want to make sure that
he loves the word codify.
Yeah, it's part of his portfolio of words.
Right. Yes. Codification. That's like, cottage cheese. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. It's like ratification, which means a large rat. Yes. Okay. And so he's interested, like fortification means a large fort. Well, codification means lots of cod. And that's what this is. The whole plan is fishy.
Which is good. I like cod. I like, I mean,
deep
if
fried.
It's fresh, fish and chips. That's right. It's awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
there we go.
That's what we need here. A real legitimate fish and chips place.
Right. Oh, for sure. That's really been, I don't think there's a good one here in town that I'm.
No, well,
you know what? Occasionally,
but they
the clam
went out of business.
Yeah, the clam's not bad. They're fish.
Okay, I want fish and chips, not clam and chips.
No, yeah, I know, but I'm saying the laughing clam.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
For those that don't know what I'm talking, yeah, they have fish and chips.
No, I'm more serious than that. Okay, all right.
Yeah, no, the real thing.
Yeah, that chain store was too expensive for what you were getting. I mean, the food's okay.
I know you're talking about Long John Silver's. Oh no.
Yeah, that was not that it was bad. It's just too expensive.
Yeah, the laughing clam a lot better than that, and you're getting actually a better deal. So if you want some good fish and chips, do go to the Laughing Clam. I think that's pretty good. The Gold Miner had some deal out there, all you can eat fish on Friday. I haven't ever been into that. So if somebody knows, hey, let us know if there's good fish.
The problem with Gold Miner is these guys from Oath Keepers are always walking around with these weapons around the gold mine thing that's there, and so it just puts me off of my dinner.
I'm not intimidated by weapons. That I may be armed myself. You never know.
You do know. I hope that everybody does know that I do support the right to bear arms. So yes. Yeah, and arm bears as well. Yes, if you're going to be out there dealing with them. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Yes. Okay, here we go.
Done up front, and that Eco Northwest knows exactly what they need to be pursuing to help me. Hopefully help this board, help the council move forward. Because if I don't have the specifics lined out, I think we all have ideas about what would be best. but I don't have the first
Apparently
clue
you
on how
don't.
to start that. And that's really
Yeah,
what I
you don't.
need to be told.
He hasn't
in
the
the
first
plan.
clue. You heard that. He needs to be told.
Yeah,
Let's
let me
tell
let
him.
Aaron in.
You know what? Here's the thing: is that Simon just talks a lot, and nobody else really understands the topic that much. So he just talks a lot, and everybody thinks, well, he must know what he's talking about. So they
And
let him off
occasionally he
the hook, like,
talks
Simon's
really
smart.
fast.
Yeah.
He talks really fast. Well, the sustainable yield and and it goes on and on and on and on and on. And you're right, they can't keep up with what he's saying. And he knows his stuff. He knows his stuff, but he says it so just like Cheryl. What was the thing that made her so excited that she just couldn't stop the words from pouring out? What kind of levy was going to be next?
Oh, right. Yes.
Super excited about
A new
that.
kind of levy. A new kind. That's the kind.
Totally different, one that you've never ever seen before. This one's really different. Remember when we were playing back those levy videos that were selling levies, and we were watching these things, and then it turned out that they were levy videos from the previous year, and it sounded exactly like this year. And this is totally different. Why?
Yes.
Never seen anything like this
We've
before.
never had a levy like this before. And they were saying the exact same thing the previous year. I'm going to have to dig those up because I have them somewhere. As a matter of fact, they may be in the archive of video for the show, because I know that we played those on the show during the campaign last year. So I'm going to have to dig through those and dig them up, because I know they're going to be resurrecting, new productions of that old stuff.
Well, this time, as Ken Hannum recently pointed out, brand new idea. We're not just hanging off of a cliff. We're hanging off the cliff by our fingernails.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Okay. So I'm glad he made that clear for everybody.
Right.
Sorry that my picture is pixelated. It's just, that's who I am.
Yes. Right. And so what we'll have to do is we need to pay for manicures for all the county employees, because they're hanging on,
and also chauffeurs.
Strengthen their
now other people are going to want chauffeurs just like Simon Hare. Just like, even though he says now he doesn't need that, the county commissioners were more than willing to give him a chauffeur.
Right. And we'll call that economic development.
Yes, because if they don't have someone out there being paid to write happy, friendly articles about them and pay the newspaper to put it into the news, why then people won't know the news.
Okay.
All right, take it away, city councilors and county commissioners.
So, Commissioner, those are good comments. One of the things we could do is we can have Eco Northwest come up with a summary of the policymakers' comments that will help facilitate that general discussion before we continue to move on, to make sure that we are moving in the right direction from a policy board's perspective.
That would be great.
Yes.
A lot of head nodding going on during that.
A lot of head nodding.
Commissioner.
And Keith Eck is nodding his head.
Yes, please.
Keith Eck is nodding his head because he's falling asleep.
Yes. Then Rick?
I'm glad there's
I was also wondering about the coordination with the facilitator and the Eco Northwest, how that was going to work, because I was kind of surprised to actually show up at the meeting and be talking to a facilitator, Brian Douglas Scott, is who I have, but I wasn't sure what the cooperation or coordination was going to be after that. So,
yeah, which one?
Yeah, that's right.
Those assessments are going to be delivered by the end of this week for all of
Oh, that's progress.
Yeah.
Rick?
Thank you for your presentation. You indicated in that slide right there that you have different focus groups.
Stop. Roll back just a little bit. Roll back just a tiny bit. When Rick Riker started talking, he's the one, every time I talk, he always looks like he's listening, which is amazing. Because who would want to listen to me anyway? Okay, just play a little bit. With or without sound is okay.
For all of the meetings.
Now stop. Okay, you see this camera tripod over in the left-hand corner that's falling over and bursting into flames?
Yeah.
That's me.
All right.
So I was also there taping this whole thing. because it's a quorum of county commissioners.
Uh-huh.
And what I always do is I always capture them talking to each other, whispering to each other during this thing. And you know that they're talking about daffodils. Of course they are. They certainly would not be talking about county business in a quorum with, so there they are. And I'm always there to shoot a picture of them, and they usually give me some kind of dirty look like, oh, why are you here? Well, you know why I'm here, because I'm here to capture you breaking the law once again, commissioners. But so I've already sat through this live. How do you like that?
Yeah, and now he's sitting through it on Memorex.
That's right. Well,
actually, it's ones and zeros.
Yeah, I knew the job was dangerous when I took it. Go ahead.
Rick, thank you for your presentation. You indicated in that slide right there that you have different focus groups, 5 separate groups for diversity, and then the city and the council and the county commissioners. So all of the above get a survey monkey, is that correct?
Well, they're going to be getting a survey monkey this week.
But-
A survey monkey will be going out to all this week.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, you know what? I'm assuming that the Survey Monkey means that they're going to send, like via email, a survey to each of the participants in this, thing there.
Oh, no, not at all. I imagine there are a lot of people who think that. But this case is, you know how they have like service dogs and you
There's an
allow
actual
them into a
monkey?
supermarket? Each one of them will get their very own monkey that will then carry out their bidding because they couldn't get the voters to do so. And because the voters wouldn't do as they're told. So it makes the commissioners and councilors feel better that each has their own service monkey. They're saying service monkey, not survey monkey. Their own service monkey that will then have a little backpack and salute. They train them how to salute. And then they go around and with the tin cup.
Cook? That's what I want to know. Can they cook?
No, better than that. They go around with the tin cup to citizens in the community and they collect tax dollars. Now they're finally getting their tax dollars that they want with a monkey.
And then on the way, back to the city hall, it stops by Papa John's Pizza there and picks up a pizza and brings that back. I guess probably. Well,
what they've discussed later in this meeting is actually having an organ grinder. Now, not the kind that you think with music, actually taking the organs, the living organs of our local citizens and dumping them into the organ grinder. Isn't that what their plan was to do with the Grants Pass city sales tax?
So just in case you thought that you were gonna tune in for hard news tonight,
we already told
this is
with our news.
Different.
What else do you want? Well, and wasn't that news laughable that Simon Hare is going to have a lawyer show up and say, "Oh, he really didn't mean to do this"? Yeah, right.
That's goofy.
Yeah, it's about as funny as this picture of this cat. Go ahead, Mike.
Anyone else? Yes, Roy.
Roy, tell us
If
the
the
story.
Survey Monkey is going out this week, and then the summary to be delivered at the end of, I presume, this week, that's cutting things kind of tight, and some people are not going to have time to respond overnight. So I'm just questioning the timing of the flow as to whether it's really the optimum.
The optimum flow.
The Survey Monkey is a follow-up for the focus groups and the one-on-one meetings. And the assessment of the focus group participation and meetings will be going on at the end of this week. So the Survey Monkey and yes.
2 separate items. Yep. Any
It's
other
nice to see
questions?
they're making
Comments?
such progress. Such progress. This is amazing.
I know. I'm looking forward to us being ready for this next robust economy. We could sure
That's
have
what
one
we're
over
getting
the
ready
next
for.
5 years, and I'd like us to be poised and ready.
Yeah, here's the sad
Mike.
part. They think that somehow that this thing with Eco Northwest is going to result in a robust economy for this is why governments cannot be in charge of economic development because they don't know how to do it. So they
do know how to spend money. They're spending
So
a lot of money on this.
Right. So they farm it out to somebody else and go, hey, that's what we're supposed to do. We farm it out to the economic development guys who don't know anything about it either, but they do know how to take your money and make it seem like you paid for something.
You know, it's very similar to what's happened with the county commissioners, except now it's happening with the city council too. This is a joint project between the county commissioners. You see the damage done by these 3 county commissioners. Now they're infecting the city council.
Oh,
Now,
I don't think so.
To say things about the city council that were positive, but I don't anymore.
Yeah, I don't think their head guy there is unhinged, and the rest of them are, halfway there themselves. I just, you know what? This is what happens when people have the audacity to step forward and say, let me be your leader. And then you go, okay, that sounds like a great idea. Cause I'm working for a living doing constructive things. And so we need to have somebody doing that. Oh, that's a big mistake to put these people in charge, because this is the kind of goofy, incompetent stuff that you're getting from these people.
I want to say it is not true that Mike and I think that all government is always wrong or corrupt or unethical.
Just mostly.
Well, a lot of the time, yes. But in this case, this guy just said, well, after we got this in, we want to be poised and ready to take advantage of the economic opportunities. Really? Poised. They want to be poised and ready, Mike. They're ready to jump off that cliff.
Right. Yeah, you know what? I want to come back and do a show telling you how wrong I was about this whole economic development scam, and say how wonderful it was, and look what they did. They turned our depressed economy into a thriving metropolis of economic activity. It's just, it isn't going to happen. But I'll be the happiest guy if I have to come back and tell you how much crow I'm eating as a result of what a great job they're doing.
Well, you remember, we were just talking about this last night, so certainly we remember that when Simon Hare especially was pressing, don't forget that the person that was pushing for manor development out at the Ivy Airport was one of Simon's biggest contributors to his reelection campaign. And when people asked, well, what kind of vetting was done on this, he said, I don't care what they've done in the past. Well, of course he doesn't care what they've done in the past. They're his biggest contributors, right? And so this thing has been fully vetted by Larry Graves. Hello, Larry Graves fully vetted this thing. And all 3 commissioners had said, this is our economic key to the future. Why many good things are going to happen. After it fell to the ground and really burst into flames, unlike my camera tripod, after this actually did that, Simon still convinced Moody's that this was a great economic triumph, and apparently is going to continue into the future, because they changed and upped our credit rating. And the thing that just gets me the most is, why do we want a higher credit rating? So we can borrow money.
Yeah, that's what we need. Let's stack some debt on top of our economic situation.
This is why, even though they're on their way out in many ways, all 3 commissioners, and these guys too, even though they're on their way out, and eventually this cat won't be dressed funny like this, all these things are going to be okay, but we have to watch them, because look how they're now spending your money, and they're poised and ready to jump in to take advantage of all these things that some firm up in Portland or wherever they're from is going to tell us about our rivers and our trees, because we don't know about that.
Nice. Okay.
Go ahead, Mike.
To do the right things that'll put us on a path together as a city and county, and give us those milestones that Commissioner Hare talked about, that we'll be able to
milestones,
as we go, and as we're trying to approach, so that we can all be doing the things that will make this better for us, for our jobs, for our kids, all those good things.
Together.
I couldn't agree more. Mr. Mayor.
We're in
I
agreement.
think we're at a pivotal point in the history of Grants Pass and Josephine County.
Yes, we are.
Directory and set up some things that are going to, pay dividends for decades to come.
That's what's going to
I was listening to the radio this morning on the history of Medford International Airport, just real quick, and all of the things that have spurred from that 900-acre facility were decisions
Great
that
camera
were
work.
made decades and decades and decades ago. But
I
they
don't
had the
think it
vision
was
and
that long
forethought at the time to make strategic decisions. Going out for bonds at the time for $120,000 is what was one of the bonds that was necessary. And for us to have that listed out and prioritized and given the information behind it that will justify going to the voters if need be for something, or just saying that this is where we're
There you
putting
go.
their tax dollars in the future, and this is the outcome we hope to get from a very well-respected, profession in the field, to say that that's
No,
worth
wait
a
a minute.
lot.
Wait
And
a
I think
minute.
Yeah.
A very well respected profession in the field.
Right. Yes. Yeah. But this really illustrates what these guys are shopping for, because they're incompetent politicians and they don't understand anything about doing any of these things themselves. And they've hired a group in here. Oh, yeah, we're going to bring them in here. They're going to make our legacy for us. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be so great. Isn't it? And then, we'll have all this economic activity, and that'll be because of us. Because we contracted with these people and they're going to save us. So it's really going to be great. That's what this whole thing is about.
And this group may come back and suggest things like bonds, where you
Right.
would borrow money from the citizens, who are more than happy to give them more money. They've been asking for money all along. If we just fork over the money, then I think that these monkeys is a really good idea. They were out there to shake down the citizens. I'm not talking about these monkeys in the picture here, by the way. I'm talking about the monkeys, they're service monkeys that are going to go out and shake everybody down.
Right.
And then when they bare their teeth, it's not because they're grinning. It's because they're putting on a display of ferocity. They're trying to get you to fork over your dollars.
Well, you know what? That actually
get it one way or another.
might be effective if you had cute little monkeys and dressed up in cute little suits running around town with a little tin cup. That would probably do pretty well.
Yeah, but what else would they be doing all over town? The same thing that these commissioners and the councilors do. And then you have to clean that up.
What?
That's a mess.
Yeah, but if you can teach them to, instead of just picking up and throwing their stuff, that they just take it over and throw it in the trash can right away. That's
who are they going to learn this from? From the county commissioners? I don't think so.
Service monkeys, can't you teach them how to do stuff like shine shoes and take your scat and put it in the trash?
No, because as Dave Toller pointed out when he was a commissioner, I'm a highly paid executive. He can't be asked to do things that would be servicing anybody else but his political pals. I'm sure that they service them quite often.
Service monkeys.
This is a family show. I don't know what kind of families watch this show, but okay, go ahead, Mike. Sad fact.
Being hesitant and not doing anything also has its costs. And I don't think Josephine County, and certainly Grants Pass as well, we can afford to just pass up those opportunities to really invest in the future. And maybe not doing so in the past puts us in a different situation than we could have, should have, would have been relative to
coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda. We can't afford to pass this up. We can't afford to pass up the opportunity to take this money and pound it into a cannon. We're putting it in the cannon. We're ramming it into the cannon. Now we're lighting the fuse. Look at the confetti. It's fantastic.
He's talking specifically about the North Park because he wants to invest a bunch of money out there. And he said in a previous meeting, we played the tape for you, I want as much as I can possibly get for the airport because I don't want anybody saying that we didn't invest as much as we could. Now, it may not help now, but sometime where he mentioned 50, somewhere down the road, we're going to be sorry if, and he just mentioned the airport out in Medford. And so what they're talking about is investing in the future. Oh, that's a good plan with these three guys. Let's take money and let's invest it into something. We have bonds and we've got a high credit rating. Let's invest in the future, and we'll call it the Cheryl Walker Memorial Investment Fund.
Okay.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, our legacy with Steve Rich, the former county council, is that he's got a now named after him that no one will confess that they named it the Steve Rich Library. It's not Memorial Library because he's not quite dead yet, but okay, that's what they've named it. One of my first things that I'd do if I was a commissioner is take that plaque off of there and put it on a rock and create 90 full-time family wage jobs.
Oh, man. See, you're a genius. Now, when we go back to this video, you're going to notice a couple of things. One, Simon is waxing eloquently on, and Keith is nearly asleep, if not actually asleep. And then Cheryl is really enjoying her lunch. So here we go.
Jackson County, and
free
I
lunch
think
on us.
we don't need to look at them as where we want to be. We want to chart our own course, and certainly, but if you look at the financial statistics of their median income is $10,000 over ours, and they're right next door to us, and a couple of other things that are indicators that there's no reason why we should be lagging behind in those statistical indicators. So
there's no reason we should be lagging behind.
I'm looking for a roadmap because we're going to change. This body's going to change. This elected body's going to change. This elected body's going to change. I think we need to have a roadmap that goes way into the future with different steps along the way that other people can refer to and say, we're on that road and we're going to continue on that path, Yellow Brick Road or whatever it is. And hopefully it doesn't get changed over and over and over again. But if each governing body had to start out fresh at ground zero, we'll never get anywhere because we'll just be constantly starting over with no end game.
That's exactly what you're going to do, buddy.
Explain to me what you just heard in the last minute.
Okay, so he's referring to the three commissioners. One of them sings "If I Only Had a Brain." The other one says "oil can" because he has no heart. And the other one is the Wicked Witch of the North. Okay. And he's making a reference to the yellow brick road that's going to lead to the guy. Don't look at that man behind the curtain because he's spending your money, but actually nothing is happening.
Nicely done, Dale. Nicely done. All right, here we go.
Mike, we've just about run out of time and patience. There are some more people's things. We can play a little bit more video, or we can try to sum it up. Do you have a preference, sir?
Well, there's 33 more seconds. Let's let the clock run out here. And
let's play the 33 more seconds. Go ahead.
I'm excited about this thing, to see if we can get something put together. And I'm just excited about working with the county and the city working together because we're certainly in this together. I don't see Medford and Jackson County splitting each other out. I think they work together quite well, and all the entities over in Jackson County do. So there's no reason why we can't here.
Oh, that was
okay.
Amazing.
Any more on that subject? Thank you very much, Susan. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Susan. She seems like a nice person, but what a bunch of blather.
Yeah, listen, and this is the kind of stuff that your tax dollars are paying for. You should be concerned about that. If you saw this kind of a presentation and you were dealing with economic development companies that had the sort of track records that these companies have had, and you were dealing with this in a private sector, this kind of stuff would never fly. These people are up there talking about nothing. They don't have any idea what they're talking about. We're going to work together in unison. It's going to be great. It's going to be diversified. It's going to be, we're going to have service monkeys. It's going to be awesome.
I just ask for a little bit of sympathy here, just a little bit of sympathy. Because I have offered many times for Mike to sit in on these kinds of meetings, and you do the videotaping.
I like the sitting in that we did tonight,
Yes.
where we could stop them whenever we wanted. Listen, if they'll make that deal with me, I'm more than happy to go to these things where I can stop and insert the laugh lines in the middle of the meeting. So everybody gets to see, That'd be
it's
fun.
very difficult to operate the camera when you're going like this all the time. And you're moving the camera back and forth. No!
Yeah. Well.
So we just had to share a little bit. This is as Mike said, government in action.
In action, yes.
What it is. And it's not even counting where they think they're going, because they're not going to get there. Okay. Or it's not even counting the fact that we had to ask people from the northern part of the state what we think that we're corn pone cousins to. We even think that about ourselves. Whether we have not a clue in our own county. Well, let me tell you about the fact that you may not know this, you have beautiful rivers and trees. Now, I know that comes as a surprise to you, but that may be part of your economic future.
Oh.
Well, okay. What can they do here? Just one positive thing that they could do that would get them ready and poised to jump into the future. I'd like that they jump into a lake, but jumping into the future, we'll try that. Inventory of what our available space was, county space, city space, or just space that's available for companies to move into. So when they call here and they say, do you have anything that's hooked up to a sewer where it's 50,000 square feet? You know what their answer is right now? We don't know. Now, Cheryl's been working on this economic development plan for how many years now? And we don't have available space. We don't have a listing. Codification, we don't even know what the rules are for development, because people could be breaking the rules. They have no idea, because when they talk about the codification program and taken over by Wally Hicks, we still don't know what our codes are. We don't know what our codes are. No, we don't. So if somebody wanted to move here and they say, what kind of statistics do you have about the graduation rate from your local university and high school? They don't know. What kind of statistics do you have about your available space? They don't know. What kind of statistics do you have about, just you pick it. They have no idea. So they need now somebody they've got someone on the inside telling them this. They've got two of us and our entire audience. So don't spend the money on this crap.
Yeah. Here's the sad part. These people actually believe they're running our economy. That's what they think. That's what they actually believe that.
Running is a good start.
Yeah.
Run them out of town. Okay. That's a real good start. Okay. They don't have a clue. This kind of stuff could be done so easily, and you don't do it with 5 different diversified groups of people. Really? What a waste.
Listen, you go to these companies and you say, what do you need? How can we accommodate you? How can we get the heck out of your way and allow you to do what it is that you want to do? Tell us how we can do that for you. That's how you do economic development.
We already got feedback from some of them, and they've mentioned this in public meetings. We'd like to know what your available space is. And they admit they don't know. Well, there's a real good place to start. Put together a list of what our available space is in this county and in the city. Well, they don't know.
I have to question the competence actually of a company who comes to the local government and asks them questions about what's going on in the community. Because all you really have to do, I mean, you can start looking through Craigslist or some of the commercial real estate listings and find out what's going on in this county. Heck, you could get answers fast when money is involved, incentive is involved, and you call some of these commercial real estate brokers. They will get back to you right now and tell you everything you need to know. So people that are going to the county commissioners and the city council, those probably aren't the businesses that we should be interested in having move here.
Well, I tell you, there's people that are here that I'm not interested in having them run our financial future for us. This is their plan, to spend money with this outside firm, with this kind of blather, and there's your economic future all wrapped up. We have a solution to this. Mike and I have a very solid solution. It's coming in May.
Right. And it involves getting rid of really most of everybody that's, a sitting board member of the county commission, providing the recall effort goes well, and which kicks off tomorrow, by the way, and a fair portion of the board and the mayor on the city side.
That'll be in November. That's correct. So you do have some choices. If you're happy with what you heard tonight, then go ahead and vote for more of the same.